Yo, what is going on, everybody? The Sixers just pull out a close win against the New York Knicks. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Justin Persichetti, at J_Persichetti on Twitter. I'm with my man, Tiago, at T-Scabby on Twitter. Listen, we just saw a pretty old-school basketball game, it seemed like. What were your thoughts on it, Tiago?
Hey, man, listen. The Knicks came in to fight. They came in to fight. The refs helped them out, right? Because some of these calls are absolutely outrageous. Outrageous, the calls are tonight. Absolutely outrageous, some of those calls. RJ Barrett getting star calls, all kinds of nonsense. Ben in foul trouble. So, Sixers, man, third quarter, fourth quarter, the Sixers showed why they're the better team. And we got to talk about Tobias Harris, man, because
oh my goodness,
there was a guy on the other end of that court named Julius Randle who stole his all-star bid. And Tobias said, you know what? I'm going to show you guys tonight who the real all-star is. So, man, props to Tobias tonight. He was awesome, man. Awesome.
Oh, for sure. And I think it can't go unnoticed the fact that the Sixers scored 20. Yes, they only scored 26 points in the fourth, but they held the Knicks to 14. Before that, the Knicks had 21 in the first, 35 in the second, 26 in the third, and they just locked them down at the end of this game. And that's really what got them back into it. The run that they went on in the beginning of the fourth, and honestly throughout the fourth, was ridiculous. And that run in the fourth was led by your man Tobias Harris. And there's not much more you can say than what he already said himself earlier. And he literally stated, "I'm an all-star."
Yeah.
Walking down the court, saying, "I'm an all-star." And he, you know what? I'm going to give it to him. In my head, he's an all-star. That is why the title of this video is Tobias Harris All-Star Statement. That he showed us tonight, and he showed the league what he is. So let's talk about it. What are your biggest takeaways of this game?
Yeah, so Justin, you touched on it because that fourth quarter, that defense was unbelievable through the entire quarter. It was interesting because he actually set Matisse Thybulle for most of the quarter. And he went with a lineup of, Korkmaz, Ben, Tobias, Seth, and Dwight. So he scrapped the Tony Bradley plan and he went Dwight, but he had Korkmaz out there. And I thought that for them to have that type of defensive quarter with a guy like Korkmaz out there is huge. And it goes back to, again, Tobias Harris's defense on Julius Randle, especially in the clutch time of the game. I mean, it's easy to go look at the box score, say Tobias went off or whatever. How many points he had? He had 30 points. But it was a defense, man. It was a defense. I mean, Julius Randle is a very strong player. He's a bully. He likes to get in the paint, bully under the rim. And all night, man, Tobias is underactive. He wasn't giving cheap fouls. He made it super, super tough on Julius Randle tonight. And he did it in the clutch moments of the game. So, it was Tobias on offense. It was Tobias on defense. It was a combination of, Dwight Howard, no Tony Bradley, and Korkmaz kind of surviving that fourth quarter that really kind of helped the Sixers win tonight. So give everybody credit, give Doc some credit for putting together this lineup to finish the game. But, I didn't think they would pull that out. So I was very impressed to see them do so.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, real quick. I got something on my screen that won't go away. Okay. No, yeah, I agree. It's just like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, it's tough for me to say, sit there, the amount of, like, the way Tobias Harris just went at them tonight and just induced his, like, just put his will on the Knicks, especially Julius Randle. Like, he was going at him offensively and defensively, like you said, with the active hands, with everything. And we've seen that from Tobias all season. Like, Tobias has just been a completely different player on both sides of the ball. And I will say, offensively, he hasn't exactly been doing things different than he has ever done in his career, but he's doing them more efficiently and more thoughtfully. And on defense, the type of effort he is putting in, the type not only with the active hands, but you can see it as soon as he's out in the perimeter with somebody, the wide stance, the low to the ground, like, he is ready and he's gonna go at you. And he had some good defensive possessions at the end of the game where he was getting steals, stripping the ball from people. Like, man, dude, like, it's impressive. And tonight, a win without Joel Embiid, just a real respectable win by a team that doesn't have your best player. So,
and Chris, sorry, Justin, one more point on that because it's very important. Like, Tobias is not a guy who's going to win quickness, right? He's not a fast guy, got stiff hips, doesn't really move well laterally. So for him to win defensively, it's got to be all about like engagement and technique. And Tobias is positioning. I'm 1-on-1, and Tobias is like a absolute technician when it comes to positioning, both offensively and defensively. And again, we talked about this in the past because games like tonight against the Knicks, scoring is going to be tough, right? It's just going to be tough. They're tough defense. You can't turn the ball over. And you're asking Tobias to handle the ball, score, play defense, shoot. And you look at the box score, 0 turnovers. So, I mean, you really can't ask for any more than that from your third star, so to speak, on the team. So, this just goes to show the year that he's having and, what's ahead for the Sixers if he can continue to be that type of player, especially in the crunch time of the game.
Yeah, and it's just, man. See, if you saw this Tobias last year, I think nobody we talked about this right before we went live. I want you to say what you said to me earlier about Tobias. Earlier last season, what people thought about Tobias and what he's doing now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of takes out there about Tobias, right? So people wanted to trade him for Kevin Love. People wanted to amnesty his contract. And this idea, that instant gratification is what is important. And a guy like Tobias Harris just doesn't forget how to play basketball. He's a good basketball player. So, last year he wasn't good in the playoffs. He was not good. We're not going to make any excuses for him. He was terrible in the playoffs. But, with the new coaching staff, with the new scheme, with space around them, you start to see why the Sixers like this guy. We're not going to talk about the contract now because the contract has happened and it's there. But just talking about specifically about the player. Right. So, there's value behind that contract. This guy's not just getting paid to do absolutely nothing. So, if we talk about separate those two things and really focus on the player, you really see, what the Sixers are paying for. They're paying for a star player. And Tobias right now is a star player. No questions about it.
I completely agree. And dude, don't sleep on our man Tobias anymore, please. Don't sleep on him no more. You can't sleep on him anymore, man. Like he just went out. Let's not forget that the Knicks have a good defense. Like Tom Thibodeau is their coach. Like they're known for being a hardy defensive team. They don't give up wins like this typically. And I will say, and me and Tiago said this also before coming on, I don't think either of us thought they were winning this game throughout the game. I really wasn't sure. When they went down by like 10, I was like, okay, they definitely can come back, but I wasn't sure, not being that they didn't have Joel, being that the game was going so slow, and like there's that slow bully ball, and we were missing our best bullier. And,
right.
But I mean, listen, there was a comment over here that I saw said, where's that? Oh man, I'm not. Oh, there it is. Ben said it. Ben Butler said Toby getting grown man buckets, and that's for real. And he's been doing it all season, man. Toby has been getting grown man buckets all season. That's what he was going back and forth with Julius Randle today. So,
and it was just so absolutely right, like grown man buckets in the post, bully type stuff. But it was also off the dribble, off the drive, yes, and that's what makes him such a tough player because you're asking a power forward to get out there and stop him. No chance. Like Julius Randle had no chance on the perimeter. He took him off the dribble on multiple times. I want to see what the drive stats look like tomorrow because he just felt like he had his way with Julius Randle offensively. So it's just the ways that he gets buckets. We talked about him getting fouled more, so he's getting more to the free throw line. I think tonight he had, so he had 4 free throw attempts, so around his season average. You're getting everything you possibly want from Tobias Harris. So phenomenal game.
Yeah, now let's talk about Seth Curry. Seth Curry having a game today with 20 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 50% from the field, 7 of 14, and 4 for 7 from 3. I mean, listen, dude. In my opinion, he is one of the, and obviously Tobias Harris is the biggest reason why we stayed in this game offensively, but also Seth Curry hitting some really deep threes today. And just those momentum shots. You saw, like, realistically, like, those were momentum shots. You heard it in the stadium. I felt it in sitting here on the chair. The momentum shifts when he was hitting his shots. Tell me what you thought about Curry's game today.
Yeah, that was exactly it, Justin. That third quarter was huge. I mean, the Sixers were on the ropes. New York came in. They had almost, I think, a double digit at some point. So the Sixers were on the ropes. And I thought that In that third quarter, the key, what I saw was the Sixers were playing Ben off the ball, and it was just 1-2 game with Seth Curry. Quick hitting action, pass, screen, shoot, boom. And they got New York sleeping on a couple of plays. They got, New York not paying attention. And like you said, like Seth had some bombs, man. Like,
Yes,
4-point range type shots to open up that third quarter. So this was a type of game that you want from Seth Curry. He had 7 3-point attempts, which is much higher than what we're seeing from Seth Curry, right? So in the past, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen, 1 to 2 to 3 3-point attempts. 7 3-point attempts feels like the ideal range for Seth Curry, especially when he's shooting like tonight. And, next to Tobias Harris, he was a difference, man. He was absolutely a difference. I wish that he played more. So 32 minutes, it's good. It's around his season average. But it just feels like at times they keep him on the bench for a little bit too long, which means like more Mike Scott, more Korkmaz and that stuff. So can't complain, though. It was a great game from Steph Curry. Him and Tobias were the difference tonight.
Yeah, and I will say, I see a lot of people in the comments talking about our boy Dwight Howard. So that first of all, that block was indeed ridiculous. Yeah. Dwight Howard had 2 other of those blocks. He had 3 blocks on the night, 11 points, 12 rebounds, 4 for 9 from the field. Can't ask for much more from a guy who is, in my opinion, the best backup center in the league.
I can't agree with you there, man. Sorry.
Okay. I really like the amount of value. Okay. I should say this: best backup center in the league, with the best backup contract in the league as well. Veteran minimum for production of a double and 3 blocks. That's some value right there. I should say that.
I'll agree with you on that. Value-wise, he's up there. When he has games like tonight, absolutely. And I thought that him going away from Tony Bradley was the move to make. I mean, I don't know what he sees in Tony Bradley. Maybe you can help here, Justin.
What's up?
What he sees in Tony Bradley. I don't know what Doc sees in him.
I think Tony Bradley is a little bit more safe when it comes to fouls. Okay. At least that's what I've noticed. At least, like in bigger minutes, he's not fouling as often. I don't think he's better than Dwight Howard, but I think he's shown that he can stay in a game a little bit longer without fouling.
And you're probably right on that. The fouls with Dwight Howard get to be a little bit out of control. He doesn't have good hands. A couple times, Shake drove in, made the pass, and Dwight just fumbled the ball. Same thing with Tony Bradley. They don't have good hands. They're slow to process the catch to the basket. But defensively, man, like you saw that block on Julius Randle, that's a game over type block, man. Like you're not coming back in here ever again.
Man. Yeah, so. Mike D agrees. Mike D definitely agrees with that one. The block where Randle hit the floor was epic. Yes, I can't disagree with that one. So, do you want to talk about Ben Simmons a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about Ben
Simmons. Yeah. Ben Simmons tonight, 16 points, 7 assists, 13 rebounds. I think that he probably would have had more assists if we were hitting a little bit more from 3 early in the game. Danny Green had a lot of misses early in the game, and I think that is why. And you notice the games where he's out and not playing in the fourth quarter are the games where he's missing a lot of shots. Which, I mean, I can appreciate that of Doc Rivers to understanding his team and understanding who's playing well in the moment and who isn't. But yeah, so Ben Simmons, get back on track. Ben Simmons, 16 points, 7 assists, 13 rebounds. He had no blocks and steals today, which kind of surprised me, but I will say he had really good defensive positioning most of the time. So I don't think, even though he wasn't the one getting the numbers tonight, other teammates were. Like Tobias had 2 blocks tonight as well. I think overall his game was good. What are your thoughts about his game?
Yeah, I thought that Ben to start the game. So when the Sixers were really poor, right? They had 2 points through the first, 3 or 4 minutes. I thought when the Sixers went back to Ben Simmons on the ball, attacking downhill, that's when they got the game started. So that's when the Sixers started getting some easy buckets to get the game rolling. And then from then on out, the game kind of flowed. So I thought that Ben early was really good. I go back to what I've said before in this podcast, last podcast, is that Doc seems to be very strict about his lineup, playing Ben with a center. So either Tony Bradley or Dwight Howard. And he played, it was about a 2 to 3 minute stretch where he played, it was Tobias, Ben, and 3 other shooters. So there was no other center on the court. The Sixers got beat inside a lot defensively, but
you really saw Ben take off on the offensive end when they had all the space to work with. So I think that for the Sixers to get a scoring Ben Simmons, they're going to have to figure it out how they can play these lineups without a center. Last year, they had Al Horford, which made his life a lot easier. They don't have him this year, so they figured out how to do that. But what has impressed me about Ben tonight was that, a team like the Knicks who like to play physical, you got to be a presence on the glass. You have to be a presence on the glass. And sometimes Ben tends to shy away from the glass. I mean, let's be honest. There are times where he does not box out. He doesn't attack the offensive glass. And I'm looking at the box score tonight, and the game showed exactly that. 13 rebounds, three on the offensive glass. So, if you're not contributing on the scoring sheet, you got to figure out a way, man. And Ben did that tonight by playing physical, playing his usual good defense. I thought the refs were absolutely terrible. They made him some awful calls on him. RJ Barrett was getting some ridiculous, nonsensical star-like calls. I'm like, what's going on out here? So, overall, a good performance from Ben tonight.
Yeah, there was one ridiculous play that I remember specifically about, like, with the refs, where Seth Curry literally got shoved down to the ground.
Yeah.
And I was listening to NBC Sports, and it was Alice was like, oh my goodness, I literally have it saved in my phone. Hold on, I have to find the tweet. Hold on, I put it in my drafts. He said, so he just fell on his own. Oh, so he's becoming clumsy. I get it now. Like he was literally like, how does that even happen? Like how is something that obvious happening? There's no call, which I thought was hilarious. It was a great call by Allah.
Not only that, just not only that, like,
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Ben doesn't get calls. Like, he does not get any calls attacking the rim. I mean, this guy should be at the free throw line 5, 6, 7 times a game. I mean, the refs simply do not call fouls on him. I don't know what that is. I mean, you see guys like James Harden, people breathe on him, and he goes to the free throw line. Ben is attacking the rim, gets hacked, falls on the ground, and it's nothing. So.
I will say something that I noticed in James Harden's game, and a difference that Ben Simmons doesn't necessarily do that James does, is James, when he's attacking the rim, it brings the ball down into people's arms or up into people's arms, where Ben kind of does the opposite. Like, Ben tries to finish with finesse a little bit more, and like he tries to bring the ball away from people. Yeah. So because of that, I think that is why he tends to get less foul calls. I will say, though, tonight and this season in general, he has been trying to seek out contact more when he's going to the rim, in my opinion. So it did surprise me that there was some times where he didn't get calls, because it definitely looked like he should have gotten them. So I agree with you there. Someone else we should talk about, Matisse Thybulle. Dude, this guy, 3 blocks, 1 steal, only 3 points on the night. But I don't care about that when you're putting that kind of defense out there. Man, the guy is 6th in the NBA right now in steals, averaging 18 minutes per game. Let's think about that for a second. He is above some legitimate defenders. I just looked at the list earlier today and it's escaping me, but I'm pretty sure he's above Robert Covington right now. Robert Covington is a starter. I think that cannot be missed. Like, Matisse Thybulle's defensive value in the short amount of minutes he plays already is crazy. The guy's playing half the minutes of a starter. Like, dude.
There's not much you can complain with Matisse Thybulle right now. Our man Austin sent out a tweet, said that he has hit 6 of his last 7 3-point shots, which is pretty nice. The shot looks really good. Defensively, so I think somebody said in the chat, if this guy played 25 minutes a night, 27 minutes a night, he's a bona fide All-NBA defender. There's no questions about it. So it's just a matter of him getting playing time to eventually become an All-NBA defender. I will say this, I think that they should really explore more Matisse and less Danny Green, especially if he's playing the way that he is, because this guy's playing at a starter level, like you said. There's no questions about it. You do wish that he fouled a little bit less. He occasionally does a little bit of the 3-point shot foul that kind of drives me crazy. It drives the coaches crazy.
I will say that real quick, that 3-point shot foul that happened today, he literally, the only thing, I didn't understand that foul, because the only thing that he touched, and it was literally after the ball was released, and he touched his hand, like he touched like his fingers,
Yeah.
like it was this. I think it was Reggie Bullock that was shooting it, right?
That was Alec Burks. Yep.
Alec Burks, yes. Alec Burks. It was right when he went like this, and his hand clipped this. That was all it touched. That's it. And he was coming from the side. Like I was like, how is like you know how many people touch people's hands?
Yeah.
When they're contesting, like how is that a foul? In my opinion, like because I've seen a lot of plays where guys are going straight at a dude and end up like holding hands at the top of the shot, and they don't call a foul. But that's called a foul. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It had no impact on the shot whatsoever. The shot went in.
Exactly.
Anything that should have been called, but sometimes I think he doesn't understand how long he is because like he extends his arm and it's like, oh crap, I made contact. Like I didn't know I was supposed to. I couldn't reach that far, kind of thing.
Yeah, so, I don't think people understand. Matisse Thybulle's arms are literally almost 7 foot long. Like he's 6'5". He's 6'5" with the same arms as Ben Simmons. Okay, let's think about this. Ben Simmons is 6'10". Or 6'11", whatever you want to call it, with 6'10" arms.
That's ridiculous, man.
Matisse Thybulle is 6'5", with 7 foot arms. A 7 foot wingspan at 6'5", and Ben Simmons is 6'10" with a 6'10" wingspan. How crazy is that?
No, yeah,
that's insane.
It's insane.
And then people wonder why he's such a damn good defender.
It's like he has completely mastered that like poke from behind. Right.
Oh my God! Yeah, he did it. He did it once today.
He did it like in the fourth quarter too, which is huge.
Yep.
Guy goes right by him. Is like, I clear my Thybulle. I'm good. And then he's like, whoop, right behind him.
Yes, sir. All right. So let's get into this. Like, let's finish off talking about this game. So overall, like, what do you have any like last takeaways about this?
I mean, it was a great win. Like, you know, the Sixers need to rack up as many wins as they possibly can without Joel Embiid. It's going to get tougher next week. They play the Lakers. They play the Clippers.
It's going to get tougher tomorrow.
Tomorrow too, right? With
tomorrow they match up against the Bucks without Embiid, and that's usually a bad night for the Sixers. But hopefully they can get that out of there.
Yeah, and the Milwaukee can shoot. They very well come in and just shoot lights out and not even make it a game early. And I think a game like tonight, you got to just grind it out, man. You have to grind it out. You have to stay patient with it, right? Can't get frustrated. I thought the Sixers got a little bit frustrated at times, but overall, you know, when the game mattered late in the fourth quarter, the team was like super composed. I mean, everybody was engaged and making the right decisions, the right plays, not turning the ball over. So, you know, you got to get these wins, stay in that 1, 2, 3 range, and, you know, have the cards play out for the rest of the year. So the more that they win, the more comfortable I feel they'll be in that 1, 2, 3 range and be in a good position to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed like tonight as well in the fourth quarter that the Knicks just kind of got scared or tired. I don't know, because the ball was just being flipped up everywhere. Didn't know where people were going. Like it was just there was a lot going on for the Knicks at the end tonight. And ultimately, things that got it done were Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, Ben Simmons being a floor general late in this game for sure, and just in general, just a great fourth quarter. Like you can't underestimate the fact that the Sixers, who were having a hard time playing defense throughout this game, it seemed like at least, were able to hold this team to 14 points in the fourth quarter. They let them score 35 in the second, 26 in the third, and then drop them down to 14 in the fourth. So that's huge. That's huge. And there's execution in the fourth from Harris, from Seth Curry. In general, second to none. Right. Just a great game all around. So my grade on this game, I got to give it an A. Obviously, there were some minuses to this game. Ultimately, shots weren't falling, everything like that. But the whole game, it seemed like they were getting good shots. Sometimes they got a little sloppy, but ultimately they were able to pull it out. Tobias Harris with an all-star performance against the actual all-star Julius Randle. So just want to put that out there one more time. So ultimately, what's your grade of this game?
Plus, I do think that they can do better in terms of ball movement, doing more stuff with Ben on the ball. I thought they were stagnant for the moments of the game tonight, especially early. So I think you would play a better team. The Knicks are a horrendous offensive team. I mean, they're an absolute horrendous offensive team. I mean, give props to Thibs for being what he is and playing Julius Randle like 40 minutes, RJ Barrett 40 minutes. RJ Barrett can't shoot. Like it's great. They're a competitive team. They're gonna probably make the playoffs and get absolutely destroyed in the playoffs. But it is what it is. And the Sixers had to pull it out tonight. On the offensive end against a very, very tough defensive team. So give them credit for that.
So what's your grade?
B+, man. B+.
B+. Ben Butler coming in with the Tobias player of the game, grade B. I gotta agree with you, Ben. My player of the game gonna go to our man Tobias Harris. You have any other players you're thinking of?
Tobias, man. We talked about him earlier in the podcast. This guy has been awesome. He's been absolutely awesome. He's and not only that, like a leader, a true leader on the team. So it's this guy that gives you no headaches, and just plays his heart out, competes at a high level, struggles at times to shoot or whatever, but you can't ask for more from Tobias Harris tonight. Definitely.
And listen, I think we can say this again, like we've said this many times, but this game, we're not winning this game that last year. Just want to say that one more time. No. We're not winning this game last year, and that's why this team feels so much better, and it just feels good watching these kind of games because you just know this team's different. This team's different, man.
Man, I remember last year, like being at the games, like pregame stuff, and like these guys wouldn't even like interact during pregame. Like it would be like a little huddle before the game. Like Joel wouldn't even be out and pregame shoot around. You see it tonight, like Dwight is laughing it up with Ben before the game. They do all their pregame stuff with Dwight, and the guys are like dancing. So the vibe is completely different. Give Doc credit, give Daryl Morey credit. And like we talk about like, making moves, how important they are, but there's an element of like chemistry that you don't want to mess with too. So that's something they have to think about, like when you start talking about trading guys, because the chemistry is clearly there. And sometimes not making a move is the right move. I'm not saying that that's not the way they should go, but something to think about going forward.
Yeah, and that's something that Morey came out and said in interviews as well. He said like sometimes chemistry is important, and you don't want to mess with chemistry if it's going well. And to be honest with you, I'm starting to think that may have something to do with them not making a move already. I think if there was going to be a big move already, I think it already would have happened.
Absolutely.
I think personally, I think if I don't know if this bums people out at all, but I think if Kyle Lowry was coming here, that it would have happened already with how much like things were heating up last week. I think if people do come, it's going to be small moves, like maybe like guys like Wayne Ellington and being traded for small contracts or buyout candidates type things. I just think it's going to be small moves at this point. Kind of what I've been hoping, to be honest, for most of this season. I know a lot of people wanted to go to the big Kyle Lowry trades or the big, like just big trades. I've been wanting to get some better shooting in here, like more, but not better shooting, more consistent shooting. Yeah. So I think we're gonna end it here, guys. We had a good 28-minute thing. So let's put some plugs in here. Tiago, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm just finishing up an article about the Sixers lineups without Joel Embiid. So try to get funky with some lineup combinations, see how they can optimize Ben the best way possible. And then also writing about Dario Saric. Some of those guys may know the name Dario Saric. He's having an unbelievable year for the Phoenix, man. They use him at center, so it's been wild. Like he has been tremendous. So writing about him, and also like we'll start doing some college stuff coming up soon with March Madness and the draft coming up. So we got some names to scout, and also to keep an eye on during March Madness. Is pretty exciting times ahead.
Definitely. And before I put my plugs in there, I do want to say, guys, make sure, please, once this ends, because these comments you're putting up on the side, we love to see them, but they do not then show up in our comments of our videos once this live stream ends. So once the live stream ends, please go back in the comments section. Tell us what you liked about this game, which maybe if for trades and everything you want Daryl to make, put them in there, because we love seeing them and we love chopping it up with you guys. Tell us about the show, what you think you'd want to see in the show, what you think you'd want to, what you don't see, you want to see, what you like, what you don't like, all that kind of shit. Anything, put in the comments. Like Ben Butler just said, like the video, please. It really helps us out. We want to grow this community as much as we can, and we cannot do that without the people who are already here's help. Please drop likes, put stuff in the comment section. It really does help get it out to other people. So we appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't already, go follow me and Tiago on Twitter. I'm at J_Persichetti. He's at T Scabia, both on Twitter. Please go give us a follow. Tomorrow, the Sixers matchup against the Bucks, and I'm sure you will see us back here. So listen, you guys have a good night. We will as well. Peace out. Thank you for joining me, Tiago.
Thanks, man.